the city of the sun. You could have stayed, it's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun?
Fun.
Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy.
New?
New?
New.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through colored glass, time moves on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shape my smile.
Today is January 21st, 2024. It is 3:20 a.m. This is video number 2. Video number 1 on Pt1 Sussex. There were some articles. I think I read an article from Byline and People. There's a possibility I might turn it into 2 videos, part 1 and part 2. And I read those 2 articles regarding Harry's case that's going on in the UK. So here we're gonna talk about, I forgot what some of them are. Originally I had 11 tweets, but on my last video, one of them I removed it, put it over here, and I'm gonna read it first. Okay, before we go on Twitter, let's look at the background of this channel. 4,107 subscribers, new subscribers welcome, estimate revenue $120.34, analytics 544 views in the last 48 hours. All right, let's go on Twitter. So this is the tweet that I removed from my last video, put it over here. Say no to racism. Why Meghan's happiness drive trolls mad, January 2025. Let's talk about the psychology behind hating someone you never met, specifically someone like Meghan. It's a weird phenomenon, isn't it? Thousands of people out there actively want her to be miserable. Why? Because she had the audacity to marry a prince, live her life on her own terms, and horror of horror, be happy. For some trolls, this is unbearable. Okay, she left the cult. Nobody leaves the cult. God is with her. We're gonna keep on praying. All right, so I don't see the comment. Okay, I can't read that. Racism, how is this? Meghan is lying. Okay. Lying for what? What has she said? Besides the open interview to clear her name. Oh my goodness. Let's block this. Okay, I cannot see that one. Yeah, say no to bullying and stop bullying Megan. All right, powerful, graceful, unstoppable, unbreakable, unbroken, unbeatable. Okay, powerhouse. What is that? And enough. You're blessed. You love. You're kind. You're the people princess, Duchess Megan. The haters, bullies, and abusers are beneath you. No one wants them. Why? Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so this Victoria Arbiter thing I covered already, and I think it's rendering right now. Oh, I'm uploading it right now, actually. Right here. I need to do thumbnails for it. So let's go to the next tweet. Alright, so I saw a couple people retweeting this. Quote, as my wife often reminds me of one of her favorite quotes by Martin Luther King Jr. Quote, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Prince Harry, Martin Luther King Day, we day. Let's listen. 1 minute and 42 seconds, there will be screenshots.
As my wife often reminds me, of one of her favorite quotes by Martin Luther King Jr. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. You aren't always going to agree. You may find yourselves frustrated with the older generation when it seems like they don't care. But try to remove that judgment. Try to remember that not everyone sees the world the way that you do, but that doesn't mean they don't care. Be honest, take risks, change your thoughts and change the world, and dare to be the greatest generation of all time. I'm now going to try and drag my wife on stage.
Looks like she didn't want to be on stage. Okay, so this is old. This is old. There she is pregnant, probably with Archie. How come I never seen it? Have I seen it and then forget? Huh, very interesting. But let's finish listening to it. It's almost done.
Guys, I am with you, and we are with you. Get to work.
They love each other. All right. Okay, Shujen, I cannot see that comment. Let's pause. Okay, so I guess this is where the father said it was, what is it, wanted to mess up the wedding. Let me see, 25 seconds.
And of course the photographs were a setup. I was set up by a guy named Jeff Rayner and another guy named Dylan Howard, who was with American Media, I think. And the whole thing was a plan to actually mess up the wedding. I was just part of it. Basically, they went to my...
Okay.
And of course the
it's playing over. Is there more to it? Because I have that. Alright, can Harry run for president? Meghan will make a great first lady. I think a lot of people are very jealous of the love and respect Harry and Meghan have for each other. I had the same with my late husband, and it was wonderful. Oh, sorry for your loss. Okay, I love this couple. They are a perfect team, united and in love, and yet they maintain their own individuality. That's right. She tagged somebody, your favorite couple. I just love them. There's that. Beautiful. Let's go to the next one. I don't want to stay too long on that. I think someone retweeted that video as well. It's smaller. Maybe that's not it. Okay, no findings were released. That's simply because there was nothing to release. Meghan was always innocent. Jason Kenoff will never act without the consent and encouragement of Wink. That's William and Kate.
Have been, as we know, is that the Mail on Sunday had the ruling against them in February, and they were then appealing it. So it was lawyers from the Mail on Sunday who would have approached Jason Knaff, knowing that these emails and messages existed. That would have been the point unless, I mean, the most likely outcome is that Jason obviously would have then gone to William and Kate, and clearly he has cooperated. He would not have cooperated with those lawyers without their definite knowledge.
Harry has always been right. Dirty game. Alright, so what is this? Okay, Duke and Duchess of Sussex filed 25-page report denying Meghan. 7 January 2023, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex filed a 25-page report to Human Resources to refute allegations that she had bullied members of the royal family. Royal, the workers, employee. Buckingham Palace promptly announced its intention to investigate those claims. A report which was completed recently, the palace announced it will not release the findings, which many, including the Sussexes, apparently took to mean that the Duchess had been found not to have bullied anyone. Please note, we don't find in fact know anything about the findings for certain. Harry and Meghan should have requested for it to be public, because in the future, these people never forget. They continue with that bullying thing. Now they transfer it over here to the Vanity Fair thing. They will never leave it, because this is what they want people to know. Harry and Meghan, especially Meghan, should have requests to have it public. Why? Because in the future, they're going to come back to it and then say whatever it is that they want about it. You see what they have done to Princess Diana things. Okay? They make the son come out and say, it has whatever. I'll put the clip.
I would like to thank Lord Dyson and his team for the report. It is welcome that the BBC accepts Lord Dyson's findings in full, which are extremely concerning. That BBC employees lied and used fake documents to obtain the interview with my mother, made lurid and false claims about the royal family, which played on her fears and fueled paranoia, displayed woeful incompetence when investigating complaints and concerns about the programme, and were evasive in their reporting to the media and covered up what they knew from their internal investigation. It is my view that the deceitful way the interview was obtained substantially influenced what my mother said.
Around 1986, again according to the biography written by Jonathan Dimbleby about your husband, he says that your husband renewed his relationship with Mrs. Camilla Parker Bowles. Were you aware of that?
Yes, I was. But I wasn't in a position to do anything about it.
What evidence did you have that their relationship was continuing even though you were married?
A woman's instinct is a very good one.
Is that all?
Well, I obviously had knowledge of it.
From staff?
Well, from people who minded and cared about our marriage, yes.
What effect did that have on you?
Pretty devastating. Rampant bulimia, if you can have rampant bulimia, and just a feeling of being no good at anything and being useless and hopeless and failed in every direction. Wow.
And with a husband who was having a relationship with somebody else?
Was a husband who loved someone else, yes. It was already difficult, but it became increasingly difficult.
In a practical sense, how did it become difficult?
Well, people were, when I say people, I mean friends on my husband's side were indicating that I was, again, unstable, sick, and should be put in a home of some sort in order to get better. I was almost an embarrassment.
Do you think he really thought that?
Well, there's no better way to dismantle a personality than to isolate it.
So you were isolated?
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Do you think Mrs. Parker Bowles was a factor in the breakdown of your marriage?
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
The reaction when she did the Panorama interview was one of shock. We had no idea it was happening until it happened. The principals, the royal family, probably felt let down.
The damage being done to the royal family was immense. The country was divided. You cannot have that if you're the sovereign, the head of state, which is what the Queen. You cannot have the country divided. You've got to try and have unity.
I think as her duty as Queen and grandmother, She felt this situation cannot go on. It's just deteriorating into the most awful, tragic farce.
If they had been allowed to carry on married, they would have continued spatting back and forth, whether it was on television, on the radio, in newspapers, in magazines, whatever. And from her standpoint, enough was enough.
But in the end, the Queen wrote to both of them saying, get on, gotta have a divorce, which was the last thing I... She is a deeply religious person, the Queen. She believes in the sanctity of marriage. She does not believe in divorce, and certainly not when it involves her son, who's going to be king one day. But the damage being done to the crown was so great, she wrote this letter and said, do it.
Okay, I'm talking about Princess Diana interview with Martin Bashir, and then now William claim you know, whatever he claim about it.
Prince Charles expected his butler to keep visits to Camilla a secret from the princess.
Paul just turned around to him and said, well, are you expecting me to lie for you, Your Royal Highness? And Prince Charles said, well, yes. Yes, I am. And went into this histrionics about being the King of England, the future King of England, the Prince of Wales, and you will lie, stamping his feet, and then threw this book in Paul's direction.
So Harry and Meghan either have a photocopy of it, give it to a lawyer, or have it saved somewhere with the stamp of the Buckingham Palace and make it signed by whoever who, you know, should be signing, Charles or the Queen, whoever it was. Okay, what about this? Meghan Markle is moving on after her name is cleared by the Buckingham Palace for a bullying investigation. Meghan's team insisted that these allegations were false and that the Sunday Times was being used by Buckingham Palace to peddle a wholly false narrative. They called the whole investigation a calculated smear campaign based on misleading and harmful misinformation. And also, they put, I guess, the people who was working at the palace, they put their names at the bullying investigating thing, and they never told the people that. But once the employee, I mean the people, I meant the employee, okay, they put an employee's name as if she was being or he was being bullied, but the employee never said anything, but never didn't even know they were talking about this particular employee. But once the employee was aware of it and said, no, remove my name from this thing. Okay, so there's two journalists. Well, Omid is a journalist over there. Omid and Chris Chip, both of them say almost the exact same thing about the bullying investigation. Okay, Mark. First, there's Omid.
The allegations of bullying that Meghan faced in the workplace, in the royal workplace at the palace, are somewhat complex because we talk about allegations and accusations. We've heard the word bullying thrown around. In fact, even the palace put that on a press statement when they announced they were launching an internal investigation. What we haven't heard are any examples or anecdotes to back up these claims. And, you know, when we spoke to many of the sources that helped us throughout this book, people who were for and some who were even not particularly on the side of the Sussexes, no one was able to give any information that supported or backed up those claims of bullying. And when we dug into it even further, we found out that the individual who had made the claims of bullying in the workplace at the palace was sort of speaking on behalf of a few others in the workplace. This was a concerned boss. He was their private secretary to the couple and to William and Kate, who had written to the Human Resources Department to air his concerns over how staff were feeling. Now, what we detail in the book, and I've already gone into detail with in the past as well, was that two of these individuals, when they heard that that complaint was made, immediately went to their boss and asked for the information to be rescinded. They wanted to take back any allegations of bullying. So that leaves a few question marks over what these bullying allegations are. We've yet to hear actually what happened. No one's come forward with that information, and the palace say that the investigation continues. We may not hear anything until next year. I would imagine it's something the couple would like to put behind them. I know that they were very supportive of an investigation going ahead because it helps them get to the bottom of the matter as well. But so far, there's very little evidence to back it up.
And now there's Chris Chip's spot regarding the bullying.
Royal household about someone who was, at the time at least, a very senior member of the royal family. Meghan was married to the sixth in line to the throne. And, you know, this is very serious indeed. But one other thing that I've learned is that whilst this bullying claim was submitted by their then chief communications officer, the head of comms at Kensington Palace, the staff involved didn't know that had been submitted, and when they found out, they asked for it to be rescinded. So we've got quite a difficult story here about a bullying complaint.
Meghan Markle's name has been clear from the bullying investigation. On June 29, Buckingham Palace confirmed that they concluded the investigation and Meghan Markle's name has been clear. However, they won't be releasing the report and its details to the public, which is disappointing to Meghan and her team. Okay, yes, I've seen a couple of articles detailing her innocence, but they won't release the findings because she is no bully. Also, another article where two allegedly revoked their claims. It was all a setup. At the time, they were waiting for Oprah to drop. I'm telling you, Harry and Meghan should have requested for it to be released because these people will never satisfy with anything. Okay, I remember, but here are rehashing bullying claim. The fact is that they have investigated Meghan up, down, and sideways, and they could find no dirt on her whatsoever. False bullying claim are the best they can do, and they are clinching to that like a drowning man to a life raft. Charles ripped the sink off and choked a servant, and Meghan is bullying, and they had to investigate. Yeah, I have one of the royal rights were talking about that. I have the audio of that. Okay, from the archive, The Secret of the Royal Servant, Prince Charles dropped a cuffing down a sink while on a holiday in south of France, when then ripped the sink from a wall and smashed it to the ground. Is he that strong? This is the basic thing here. Is he that strong to rip the sink off the wall? Was it a freestanding, they put it, attach it against the wall and there's no base for it? Okay. Then rip a sink from wall and smash it to find the missing stud. But won't be water spill all over? This might be a lie as well. Okay, he then turned to Stonock, grabbing him by the throat. Stonock managed to break free and dash out of the door into what he thought. Okay, yep, I remember this revelation, Spellman baby, and still is.
Prince Charles also has a legendary temper, as his staff know to their cost. One of his later butlers was Ken Stronach, who sold stories to the press which revealed what his master was like to serve.
Charles and Ken Stronach were away for a weekend with friends, staying at a friend's house, and Charles was trying to put his own collar studs in, which he doesn't normally do for his formal strap. And he dropped one of the studs, and it sort of bounced around the sink and went down the plug hole. Charles was in a fury, just ripped the sink from the wall, threw it to the floor, shattered it into 1,000 pieces, retrieved the stud, and Ken had to put it in. And then when Ken had put it in, Charles grabbed him by the throat. Well, they said, "You do understand, Ken, I just have to let this out." Well, Ken was so terrified, he sort of backed out of the room, but he didn't know the geography of the room, so he backed into a cupboard and stayed there for 10 minutes before letting himself out.
Okay, I wish Harry will release his report. All right, let's go to the next one. I mean, he already said his wife had nothing to do with that. To the next tweet. Okay, let's pause. It is racist AF to find that a black woman cast aside her stellar reputation the moment she walked into a white space and decided to pull out every stereotype racists have about black women that she did, and knowing she will be under a racist microscope. Okay, I'm assuming she's making reference to Meghan marry into the royal family. This is the basic question that I keep on saying. The moment she married into the royal family, all of a sudden you're hearing all those negativity headlines about her when she's been in the public eye for years and no one have said anything negative about her. And then we hear from co-workers who were being bribed to talk negative about her, and then people want to ignore the derangers, want to avoid all of that.
know we can rely on you for being a great guy. So what an incredible friend you were to Meghan Markle is. Have you guys hung out at all since then?
No, we haven't spoken. She just wrote me a very nice thank you letter, and I framed it, and that was very nice of her to do. She just appreciated that I was honest, but it's so funny that we live in a time where everyone's like, it's such a big deal. I just did the right thing. Right. You know, it's okay to feel like that should be the norm and the status quo, but it's like, whoa, it's so crazy. He told the truth. I think we should all be a little more honest.
Well, thank you for doing the right thing.
All right, that doesn't make any sense. I agree with that. Okay, especially one that intelligent and protective of her professional life. That's for sure. Ben saying that since day one, just laughable and a dang lie. Folks are just insufferable. And when we read history about black people, we need to look at who voted. This is the thing that they were trying to portray for the future. They had a script for her, not for our lifetime, even though she was living in it and they were driving her nuts about it. Okay, it was for the future, and it still is for the future, because they will still have their group in the future to continue dragging the lies, to make people believe this is what she was all about, when in fact she wasn't. Okay, Meghan Markle managed to spend decades in one of the most gossipy industry in the world with a sparkling reputation. She married Prince Harry and suddenly became the Wicked Witch of the West, with rumors circulating just as her show was to be released and Harry is fighting the case. I think I covered this already. I didn't know it was part of that. So let's go to the next one. Here is making reference to Vanity Fair. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Assistant editor of Vanity Fair is Kate Nicholls. Oh. She will be named in Prince Harry's trial of illegal activity. So that was a hit piece. Oh, no. Yeah. The royalists and taxi British media are very scared, so they lie and continue with a smear campaign. Smart people won't fall for this. Alright, so this is the Victoria Arbiter. I already covered it, but let's focus on that one. That's from Byline. Okay, top male journalist Kate Nicholls used illegally obtained info and stories. That was back in 2019. And the first part of our deep investigation into crime and malpractice at the Daily Mail and Mail on Sunday, Byline investigates can tell how 3 phone hackers admit selling Miss Nicholls' stories, 2 private investigators admit supplying her with blagging information, and 3 targets including Prince Harry, Hugh Grant, and Carol. Okay, so she got her information. So that wasn't she used to be in the States reporting about the royal family? Oh my God, these people have no shame. Alright, I wonder how many times William and Kate had to disguise their voices when they called in as sources for the Vanity Fair hit piece. LOL. Special place and hell. 2 people can't leave an abusive family and break out on their own, adults and their children. If this had not been the royal family, everyone would be congratulating Harry on being a wonderful husband and father, which he is. Okay, imagine my surprise. Not, there's that. Wow, this makes perfect sense now. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. E.T. uses her as their royal go-to expert. That's where I used to see her, from E.T. Entertainment Tonight. She shows such bias against Harry and Meghan. Okay, I don't watch this no more, so I used to see her. Vanity Fair, you are in deep doggy doo-doo. Right? Kate Nicholls is complicit. And the worst thing is, Vanity Fair knows what Harry has been going through in the UK. So maybe, I don't know, they feel so confident they'll be okay over here. Kate Nicholls is complicit. Alright, they all piss in the same pot. How did she land a job at Vanity Fair to begin with? She followed them here. That was her pitch. Follow the American royals. There we have it. Kate Nicholls. Alright, so let's go to the next one. And this one had to do with Sharon Stone. Okay. When you speak the truth, you don't have to hide your identity and speak as a source. Meghan Markle worked in the industry for over a decade, and no one ever spoke ill of her until she married Harry. The attacks are due to hate for profit, envy, and racism. There's that. Okay, the Duke and Duchess have since been praised for their effort with one of their A-list neighbors, Sharon Stone, even speaking out about their caring role in the community. I think I have shared this video of her. She was talking to either ET or Access, one of those entertainment thing in the US. You know, the thing about them that is so great is they didn't come here to live off of our community. They came here to be a part of our community. The 66-year-old Basic Instinct actress explained in a recent interview with when asked about her royal neighbors. Okay, this is an old article. That's what I thought too. Okay, this is someone that I blocked. Those allegations were from Tom Brower's Fell's book. Before doing the collection, Meghan modeled and was a brand ambassador. If she was ill-behaved, the store wouldn't have asked her to do a collection. The second director agreed with her changes, just say you hate her and move on. So that's someone I blocked. There were arguments over one commercial film in Montreal in March 2016 after Meghan asked for changes to the script, though a different director then acknowledged the Duchess was right. I think they're making reference to they always wanted her to come out with a towel or some sort of a way, somewhat prerogative that didn't align with her. So she spoke to them and said, I don't want to be doing this. You know, things like that. Meghan Markle was involved in all aspects of the design process, she told Best Health. Once upon a time, before she met Prince Harry, Meghan Markle was an actress living a relatively quiet life in Toronto, at least compared to now. Back in the spring of 2016, she partnered with Canadian retailer Ritman and even modeled for the Quebec-based fashion brand. Prior to that, she was named ambassador for Ritman for winter collection. Okay, only folks who envy and are jealous of HRH, the Prince Harry and the Princess Meghan, will not talk or say good about them. All right, so let me pause for a second.